Hey, good afternoon. I am Kevin Jefferson, the People's Lender, and today I have one of my realtor partners, Natasha Bazile. How are you?
Wonderful. Hello, hello.
So we're doing something a little different, right? You always hear from me about things you should do as a buyer from the lender standpoint. I wanted to ask Natasha a few questions pertaining to things that a buyer can do to prepare for their buyer's consultation with a real estate agent.
Okay.
So, Natasha, if someone wanted to sit down with you and have a buyer's consultation, what are some things that they need to have prepared for you in advance?
All right, so the way my process looks is you reach out to me, schedule with me on my Calendly, and that's like a quick 15-minute conversation that we're having just to get an idea of what is it that you're looking for, just the overall things. From there, I'm going to schedule your home buyer's consultation. Ideally, you've been pre-approved, but if you haven't and you're ready to go, then we're going to talk about that then, explaining just the different components. I say schedule an hour, but I have been finding that my consultations are going an hour and a half because between the information I'm sharing, the questions being asked, it sounds like a lot, but by the end of it, people are like thanking me, like, thank you for going over all that information. So as far as them preparing for the home buyer's consultation, I would say have an idea of what it is that you want, what you're looking for, where you want to move to. And then, even if you don't have all the answers to those questions, we're going to dig down into it during the home buyer's consultation, because at the end of it, I want to put together a game plan so that we can move forward. And that includes having your pre-approval from a reputable lender so that we can move forward. It's like a teamwork here.
Right. So in terms of in the buyer's consultation, what are 3 things that you feel like are high points that need to be addressed in that consultation?
There's so much. Well, first of all, let me tell you, you should be having a home buyer's consultation. There are some people, and I talk about this in my consultation, that just get out here to buy a home and do it wrong. They haven't spoken with the lender. They don't know how much they can afford. They're driving by houses. They're calling on the signs. So now they're talking to the listing agent who represents the seller, not them. Or they're calling an agent and saying, hey, can you just show me this property? Just meet me out at this property. That should not be the start of your home buyer's consultation or your home buying journey. So it should start with a home buyer's consultation. And then 3 points that should definitely be touched on in there are expectations. What are your expectations of what you're looking for? Also of the agent that you're working with, because you guys want to make sure you're on the same page. So that's 1, expectations. 2, the pre-approval. How much home are you looking to buy? How much are you comfortable with paying monthly? And going through those components. And then 3, the actual home search process. What does that look like? Do you just send the agent a home and you're out to see the house in 20 minutes? Be on the same page and understand what that process is going to look like. And I'm going to throw in a 4th as a bonus, the whole offer process. What does that look like? And it also needs to be tailored to the current market that you're in. So I know that was a lot.
That's important stuff. In that consultation, when that consultation is done, what if they don't have a pre-approval? What if they come to you from, without a lender, they just happen to see something and say, hey, I want to reach out to this person. I feel like I can connect with them.
Okay. Yeah, no, that's fine. But before we actually physically get started seeing homes, then that step would need to be completed. So at the end of my home buyer's consultation, I have, okay, here are the next steps. And it's tailored to, if you already have your pre-approval, we're on the same page, you want to work with me, I want to work with you. All right, we're going to move forward to the next step. Let's start identifying homes and move forward. If you don't have your pre-approval, now it's, okay, make sure let's talk to the lender. Let's see what they say, and then let's revisit the game plan going forward. What's your price point that you're looking for? What areas? Because you might say, I want to be in this price point, and I want to be in this area because they have the best school district. But after you talk to the lender, that price point isn't getting you into that school district. So what's the game plan then? Are we moving to other areas? Are we looking for a smaller house? We're going to get on, have a meeting of the minds.
Got you. But I really want to see this house on Baltic Ave. Can I see just one house without a pre-approval?
No, not for me.
Why?
Not to say that I've never made that exception. A couple of reasons. One, I do not want to get your hopes up if you don't end up qualifying for this house. So you see this house on Baltic that is $400,000, and then when you talk to the lender, you qualify for 300. Now I have to get you mentally down to seeing homes in the 300, and your heart is set on the 400,000. So that's a letdown. That's there. Two, it sounds great. You might be the most upstanding person, but there are people out here that just want to see houses, and this is a business. So like when you go to a doctor, you schedule that appointment, you come in, you fill in the paperwork, you wait for that doctor. There's a process. You go to TSA, you just don't get to the airport and just go straight on a plane. There is a process. It is the same thing when you're dealing with a lender or a real estate agent. So it's just part of the process. It shows that you're serious and committed.
Got you. What are, in your opinion, when you say the person should be prepared also, besides the pre-approval, and have expectations, who looks for the houses? Do I find them on Zillow, or do you set me up? Like, do I go ride around and see houses? Like, what's that process look like?
So great question. And it depends on the agent and, what you guys establish. So for example, I set my clients up on a search. There are some, but I also tell them, hey, if you see something outside of my search, send it to me. There are some agents that only want you to look at what I send you on this search. So you just have to understand that process, what their process is. But then also, if you're not clear on where you want to be, I'm fine with you driving around. Go to different areas. Go check out. You can go to open house, but make sure that you tell them you have an agent, that you are represented by an agent. You can go to a model home. Some most are welcoming, but some are like, if your agent isn't with you on the first one, don't come in here. So we need to establish that and make sure we're all clear, because I'm committing to work with you as a client. You're committing to work with me. So we just want to be on the same page.
That makes sense.
And then also, something else, I've heard people say, well, they weren't satisfied with their agent. I'm like, why? They was like, well, I found the house. That can happen. Doesn't mean that everything that your agent did is negated. You just happen to find that particular house, but your agent has still been doing their duties. Now, if they're not doing anything and they're not sending you anything, showing any that's something totally different. But that's why you have to be on the same page and discuss those expectations up front.
Got you. Can a buyer work with multiple agents at the same time?
Can they? Or should they? Yes, you can. Should you? No. Ooh, I heard this nugget. I'm going to share it with you. In the dating world, right? They say nowadays, well, we're both married, so we're not in that world. But I've heard that you have to ask them like, okay, are you seeing anybody? And they're like, well, no, I'm not. Or are you committed or whatever? And they're like, no, I'm not. Now you have to go a step further and ask, is there anybody that thinks they're committed or seeing you? We have to do the same thing in this industry. So are you working with another agent? No, I'm not. Is there any agent that thinks that they're working with you? Because you might have talked to several agents, another agent. They may have showed you one house. They may have, and that can muddy the water or get things confused. You may have signed a document. You may not have, but we just want to be very clear. One agent is going to get paid when you close on that house. So you want to be very clear that that's the agent that you are working with, and you don't want to waste people's time. Be respectful as well.
Right, for sure. So if I go to, let's say I ride past the property and I see the person's name in the yard and I call them, can I use them as my agent? And if so, will I get a discount for using them as an agent?
Okay. If you've already committed to working with a realtor, you should not be calling a sign on the yard. That is the listing agent. They are representing the seller. They cannot represent you and the seller, the buyer and the seller, 100% the same way, right? They can't have the same commitment to each party. And then it depends on what state you're in, right? So in Georgia, with my brokerage, I can represent a seller as a client, seller as a client if I'm a listing agent. And if a buyer comes to me and says, I want to put in a contract, I can represent you as a customer. I can only do administrative duties. I can only fill out the paperwork. I cannot tell you, oh, I know that this is what the seller is willing to take. I can't tell you, like, I know this needs to be repaired. I'm just throwing that out there. That might not be one. But I can't tell you the personal things because that's my client. I'm just filling out paperwork for. So you want to have somebody that's representing you as a client and looking out for your best interests. So you can call the sign of the art. It's not in your best advantage. And will you get a discount? No. That's like going to new construction and saying, because I heard this, I don't need an agent. I'll just say, I don't even know why they don't use an agent, but they think I'll just use the on-site agent. The on-site agent represents the builder. And the builder is not saying, hey, you didn't use an agent. Let me knock off $5,000 off the price of this home or give you $5,000. It doesn't happen. The same thing on the seller side. So,
well, there you heard it.
Yes.
You need to have representation. I say it all the time in my videos. You definitely need, I am a proponent of you having your own representation for your deal. Even if I'm not your lender and you decide to go with new construction, at least utilize an agent to work on your behalf, because that site agent or the listing agent represent the seller, and you technically don't have anyone representing you. They get paid off you. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. But you technically don't have any representation. If I had a buyer who I wanted to reach out to you to get a consultation, how would they get in contact with you?
Easiest way is schedule with me on my Calendly. That's www.calendly.com/sold by Nat. So you can go on there, just pick a time, a day that works for you. We'll hop on the phone. If not, you can reach out to me. All my socials are sold by Nat, and my phone number is 404-857-2508.
Well, there you have it. Natasha Bazile, real estate extraordinaire. Her contact information will be below. She also has an amazing YouTube channel that you'll tap into. I'm Kevin Jefferson, the People's Lender. Have a great day.